Hello y'all, this is Set to Achieve. Welcome to another video. And I just want to talk about something that I think will be impactful and can help somebody, okay? This is your first time watching or you're not subscribed, please subscribe and join the family. Like the video, share, leave your comments, and let's get to it, okay? So the title of today's video is Bet on Yourself. Bet on yourself. Okay, don't listen to what people are saying or be moved by whatever, and don't even be moved by your circumstances. Am I gonna make it? What would happen if I don't make it? Because when you start dwelling on the negative mind and your negative mindset, you're gonna crash and burn. Okay, so I'm gonna tell my story and how that has helped me. Okay, so I became a registered nurse in 2020. No, in 2010. In 2010, I left nursing in 20, like right around 20, right before the pandemic. Okay, because I was seeing the signs that it was time to leave. But what are the things that like caused me to want to leave? There's a lot of things that were happening in my life. I was going through narcissistic abuse. I was stressed out all the time. All my children were young, or a lot younger. They're all teenagers now. I have 3 teenagers, but they were all young, and I just didn't like nursing. I just didn't like health, like healthcare. And I only went into it because of family members. I have family members. A lot of my just about like all my family members are in healthcare, or of like one form or the other. My dad, my mom, my siblings. So I was basically like pressured. Like it was like like the thing to do, right? So when I got into it, I quickly found that it was not for me. I tried different things from home health to like different things, and it just wasn't for me, So I was frustrated, and but there was nobody in my inner circle to talk to because everybody felt like what are you complaining about? Like it was like, okay, like why are you complaining? So and then I was also going through, like I mentioned, like narcissistic abuse. So even my spouse at the time was like, because of the fact that he was gaining supply from me, from the money I was making, even though I was like dying inside, he didn't care. So I couldn't speak to anybody. So I just, I had my relationship with Christ, God, so I went back to God, and I just, I started like praying more and just spending more time with God, fasting, and I just felt it in my heart that God wanted me to leave. I felt so strong in my spirit that I had to leave nursing. And so I left, okay? And I took a bet on myself, And so when you take a bet on yourself, that means like you believe in yourself. I believe strongly that somehow, some way, God will see me through. Somehow, some way I would make it. I didn't know how. But the Spirit, God spoke to me to go back to my first love. I guess you could say my first love, like what I first started doing, which was hair, okay? I started braiding hair as a child, 12 years old. I would lock myself in my bathroom and like freestyle, just like use my hand to like free part my hair. So I would like, put the rest like up, and just part one like with just like literally like my finger, part it, and then I would get extensions and I would braid it up. So I would make like nice like long braids, take it to school. People would be like, give me compliments like, oh, I love your braids, I love your braids. So pretty soon my sister started noticing it and my hair, and that like that it looked good. So at first when I started out, like it was kind of like rough and not so good, but as I started like perfecting it, doing it over and over again, I got better, right? So eventually I started doing other people's hair, and so it became a thing. I was making money, right? As a young person, right? So fast forward, like I said, I was convinced to go to nursing school, and it was just like all so depressing. And mind you, somebody left a comment in like the video that I put saying from registered nurse to delivery driver, and they were saying like, oh, don't discourage other people from going. No, I'm not discouraging anybody, but I'm telling my story, okay? All right, this is my truth. All right, and because I feel that I'm actually shining light to what a lot of people are going through. Um, I'm actually shining light to what a lot of people are going through. Like, for example, there was a lady that left a comment saying that like she was currently, she had to take like a forced vacation because she was so stressed out, going through all kind of abuse and narcissistic like toxic behavior, and the supervisor was like the same, like friends or whatever with like the workers at her hospital or facility. And so like when she would report to him, because they would have like, and it was so bad, like the supervisor or the manager would have like lunch and bake cakes and stuff with the other co-workers, right? So it was like, so they were friends, you know, they would have like talks and you know, little potlucks and things after work, right? And she was the outsider because she wasn't doing that, she wasn't vibing with the everybody else, right? You know, so because, so there was like a clique. So when she would go report, like, you know, they were doing certain things, or, you know, like she was being like picked on or things like that, like it would be like, what do you mean? You know, they will always find a way to be defensive and take their, so it's like, I feel like, you know, my coming out here and speaking on this topic, you know, is something, it's like I'm shining light on what a lot of people are going through. But nonetheless, everybody was against me. So when I left nursing, one of my family members literally told me that I would never succeed apart from nursing. Like I was nobody apart from nursing. I would never make it. I would never be anybody. I would never be anything. Like I was like lost and hopeless, you know? But my spirit rejected that. Even though I was sad, I was very sad. I cried, you know, like, wow, is this what's gonna really happen? You know, but anyway, God told me to go back to doing hair. So I went back to doing hair. I was doing hair. Then I started doing Uber Eats. I was doing Uber Eats, but eventually, somehow, some way, I got deactivated. I don't know what happened, you know, but so luckily there were other apps that were coming up. So I signed up with DoorDash, got accepted, started doing DoorDash on some days, started doing hair on other days, and then I realized that I was building, you know, I was building on what, it was like a foundation that I was building on. It didn't seem like much, you know, and that's one thing that I want to say, you know, if you're someone that is tired of a 9 to 5, you know, maybe it's toxic, and you're tired of coming back home every day and you are just like, there's nothing left in you. All you can do is just like fall down on the couch, you know, maybe take a hot shower, eat, and before you know it, you fall asleep on the couch, or you sleep to the next day, and it's the same cycle over and over again, you know? Maybe you're called for something bigger, you know, but a lot of people are not willing, you know, they're not willing to take a step of faith, you know, they're not willing, you know, to bet on themselves, you know, they're stuck, you know, a lot of people are stuck, you know, they're stuck in other people's opinions, and, you know, I don't care what anybody thinks. You know, anybody can make an have an opinion or have a comment or whatever, you know, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, you have to do what is best for you. At the end of the day, you have to bet on yourself, you know, and that's what I did. I bet on myself, you know. I ignored the naysayers, even the ones that were in my close circle, my family, you know, the ones that were supposed to support me, but they didn't. And the funny thing is, when you are in your down moments, that is when you know who really, really supports you, who really, really secretly envies you, and who has your back. You know, when you're in your down moments, when you're, you know, just seeming like you have your back against the wall, you know. And that's what happened to me. You know, I had my back against the wall. You know, my children were younger. I was dealing with a narcissistically abusive situation whereby, like, there was no support anywhere, and the only person I could turn to is God, and to believe in myself. So I bet on myself. So I started doing the hair, started doing delivery on some days, and God just kept taking me from one level to the other. Fast forward till now. So eventually I took a course, you know, and that's one thing I always advise people. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Invest in more knowledge, you know, because that knowledge is going to take you from where you are to the next level that you want to be. Took a course on being a middleman. Started a middleman cleaning business. Started also, I already had a mobile braiding business because I was a mobile braider. Started like doing that, like, doing mobile braid, even though I was doing like more of the um, not mobile braiding, middleman braiding business. But the thing was, a lot of my clients still wanted me. They didn't want anybody else when it came to the braiding. It wasn't like the cleaning that it's like, well, anybody can clean. But with the braiding, it's like you form a relationship, a bond. So a lot of my customers or my clients were like, nah. So there are certain businesses that are better business models for middleman business than others. Okay, like especially like if there's like, because with the hair you're standing, you're bonding with the clients, sometimes 7-8 hours, and they get to know you, and being that I was a mobile braider, not everybody wants just anybody in their house, right? So I had to build that rapport. I had to, some were old clients, some were the ones that were referred by older clients, so it's like a very, very like close knit thing. Um, so yeah, that didn't really work out too much for the mobile braid, for the middleman business, but for the cleaning business they did, because anybody can, they don't know who's, coming to clean. It could be, so you could just let them know that, hey, one of my employees, but you're just linking up with other service providers to, to go clean, and taking a little cut out of it. But yeah, so I started doing other things, and just adding different things. So it's like stacking. It's like some people job stack. So it's like you're stacking opportunities, basically. Opportunity stacking, I guess you could call it, or business stacking, and that's what I did, and that's what got me to where I am today. So I'm not where I want to be, but if you're someone that is looking to quit your job and maybe you have a skill, right? It might not be bringing as much. Maybe it's just a portion of the skill that you have, just a portion of what you are making, but it's able to cover your bills. You're able to cover all those basic needs. But at the end of the day, you have that peace of mind, okay? Because one thing that you have to realize is that if you don't have the time freedom or the peace of mind, to go from point A to point B, in the sense that like you don't have the peace of mind, you're dealing with like a toxic work environment, and so that work environment is not really allowing you to, like, you're restless even when you're at, so even when you're at home and you are, so even when you're at home and you are like trying to rest, you can't rest, right? Because you're too worried and you're too stressed about like having to go back to that 9 to 5. It's not worth it, right? It's not, even if they're paying you $200, $300, $1,000 per year, it's still not worth it, because your peace of mind cannot be bought. It's priceless. They own your time, they own your vacations. They get to tell you this, they get to tell you that. You're not free. You're in bondage. So you have to at some point bet on yourself. So I bet on myself, and so it was like, and some people say, well, there are different areas of nursing. You could, no, everything is not for everybody, and that's okay, but everybody has an opinion, and that's their opinion, but I just realized that God had better for me, fast forward to today. You think I would be here on YouTube, expressing my mind and helping others, if I was still stuck in some nursing job? I would have been so stressed out, and I probably would have lost my mind by now. Just thinking back on what I actually was feeling, I probably would have lost my mind. I probably would have been some kind of mental institution or something. One of them psych wards that I was working in, when I was trying out different things. But bottom line is that you have to, get to the point whereby you're like, you don't, you get to the point that you don't care what other people think. You just don't care. It's like, hey, that is your opinion. This is my life. If when I lay down and I'm in my deathbed, okay, I'm not going to be thinking about, how that person related to what I was thinking, or, what I was saying, or this person. No, I'm going to be thinking about the things that I could have done. Why did I decide to stay in that thing? And I was upset and angry and depressed all this time, and I oppressed myself, I would have been so disappointed in myself, that I wasn't able to live up to my standard, to what God had for me, and I truly feel that God too will be disappointed in me because He knows what He put in me, right? So those are the things that you have to think about. You have to factor all these things into play. That, okay, am I willing to live a life that is less than the standard that I know that God has for me? Am I willing to be unhappy just to make this amount of money and to be in bondage and to be locked down and to be just sad and depressed? No, So take a bet on yourself. Even if you have to, quote unquote, downgrade, right? Even if you have to downgrade, to build, because you never know. When you finally stack and you have the peace of mind to take a course here and do this there, and put it all together, it might be double what you were doing before without the stress and the bondage that you had before, So whatever it is that you're doing, if you're frustrated, take a step back and think about what is important. What is important? Because that's what I had to do. I had to do a survey of my life. Okay, what is important? If my health is going down, if my mental health is going down, if I don't have the time freedom, or, just thinking about like the days that I was off, like the few little days that I was off, I had to, because I was so packed in on the days that I had to work, on the days that I was off, I had to do laundry, do shopping. I was just like barely like catching my breath. It was like, so I had to do all these different things. And it was like, do I even have a life? Like, is this the way I'm going to be living the rest of my life? Am I going to be comfortable living like this the rest of my life? Or for so many more years to come? And if it was not, and it was not, I had to take a step of faith and bet on myself. Okay? So there's so many people right now at that angle, at that edge, and they're thinking, do I jump and take that step of faith, or leap of faith? Or do I just stay here and be stagnant for all my life, all my days, And I think everybody comes to that point, whether it's in a relationship, whether in business, job, family, at some point you have to decide, like, okay, what am I doing? What is best for me? Am I willing to stay here and be stuck forever? Or am I willing to say, you know what? If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. At least I tried. Even if I tried and failed, at least I tried. Because the worst thing that you can do is to live your life on regret. That is the worst thing. The worst thing that you can do to yourself. Oh, I wish I could have done. Oh, I wish I could have. No, ain't no wish. I'm doing this, right? I'm taking the steps, So hopefully, you learned something from the video, and yeah, just stop worrying so much about what other people think. Stop worrying. Stop being so caught up in what other people think. And yeah, better yourself, because you are worth it. You're worth it. You are. You might not feel like it. It might not seem like it, because everybody's talking about you. Everybody's, against you. Everybody is, nobody believes in you. But believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. They say one with God is more than the majority, right? So, yeah, I hope if I've inspired or touched you by this message, make sure you like, so you can share it to more people, because I know more people need to hear this for sure. Like and subscribe, share, leave your comments, and yeah. Till next time, peace.